It is day 101 tonight. 101. The theme of today is belief is everything. Belief is absolutely everything. I don't really have a quote today, but what's going on in my world and in the world of a lot of sports fans is March Madness. It's the opening day of the 64-team main draw tournament. There's 16 games today, 16 games tomorrow. It's a really fun event. And it's, if you know anything about basketball, which most of you I'm sure do, the fun thing about March Madness is the frenzy of the underdog. It's the frenzy of what could be when it comes to a small school that has under-recruited players that are maybe smaller and, again, weren't as highly recruited. Maybe they're not as skilled. They don't have as big of an athletic budget. They don't have the hype around the program. There's not as much fan support. All these factors are stacked against them. But yet they embody this underdog mentality. And the best of these smaller schools, the very best, the ones that are the Cinderella teams that advance deep into the tournament, they have, without a doubt, this unwavering belief. And it's not like a cocky belief at all, because they have reverence and respect for the other team, and that's what makes it so special is they prepare, and even though they're on a big stage and they maybe in their basketball life have never been on that big of a stage before because they're on television, they've got millions of people watching, they rise to the occasion amidst all this adversity, playing this great team with these bigger players and the highly recruited, all these things. Instead of not showing up, a lot of times these underdog teams embody and embrace that, and it's through their belief that they're able to rise to the occasion and do some really special things. And I could rattle off a ton of players just off the top of my head in terms of people that have truly changed the trajectory of their human life because of how they've been able to rise to the occasion in March. So I think I'm going to do a video here in a few days, if not sooner, about the story of David and Goliath. Most people are familiar with that, but that's kind of the mentality of what I'm talking about here when I say belief is everything. But the cool thing is, and I've heard more and more athletes say it this year than I ever have before, is explaining the fact that the reason that they are secure in who they are and the reason that they're able to give their best effort every day and to stay clear-minded and having a full heart while they're giving effort, they give the glory to God. I've heard it today, multiple players say that, and it's more than just a pass-by comment because they're thankful they won and, oh, thanks Jesus. It's truly explaining and wearing their faith and evangelizing that to the masses. And that's a beautiful thing for the platform that they're on. But again, belief is everything. And the cool thing about these players that I'm explaining that embody this belief and talk about their faith, it's like their belief is rooted in something that is so much deeper than this world. Their belief is rooted in something that is more than just the confidence that they have in their coach or the confidence that they have in their basketball skill set. Like their belief is rooted in what God says about them and where they know they're going. Like, again, I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record, but like, if you know like who you are and whose you are, and if you know like why you're here and where you're going, like if those basic questions are right in your mind and you feel so at peace about those things, I think it allows you so much joy. Like you can literally wake up every single day with joy and to give your best effort in the earthly things that you're doing. And I believe that it can lead to some, like, not only just special consequences or special outcomes with these like Cinderella basketball teams, but I think it could just lead to like special bonds and relationships with these players, with their teammates, and the teammates with their coaches, and it just leads to a lot of special things. And I think that the point of March Madness is really closely aligned to these smaller schools doing really special things. And again, I think a lot of that is rooted in belief. And if we can embody just that belief, even just a little bit of that belief in our own life, like how will that change the way that we see ourselves? How will that change the way that we get results for ourselves? How will that change the way that we invest in our spiritual training and our physical training and the leadership that we provide for our family, and just being a steady hand in the storm that we call life? Just having the belief, man. And some people that aren't religious, and I've said this in previous videos, but some people that aren't religious just call it like other things. Like, instead of using words like belief and faith, they'll say things like, you just have to manifest it. I think we're getting at a very similar point. We're on a similar topic there with people that are even non-believers. Is like, if you have faith in God and your belief is rooted in something that is greater than yourself, you can achieve a lot more than what your earthly mind thinks. So having said all of that, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, and I'll go on to read a handful of verses here. But starting in verse 6, it says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. By faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith." And it goes on, like, it's beautiful in these next verses, and I encourage you to read them. I just read verses 6 and 7 there, but in verses 8 and 9 and 10 and so on, it goes on to talk about other people that have just stepped out in faith and trusted God, like Abraham and Sarah. And I just wonder, like, again, knowing where the faith comes from and who we have belief in, like, that will allow us to do some pretty special things on this earth. And I think that example about Noah building an ark and being ridiculed by the masses, but still being keen and secure in the belief that he had in God, and the belief that that inevitably stirred up in his own soul. Like, that's beautiful. And I thought that this topic was perfectly in line with what these special basketball teams are trying to accomplish in March Madness. So we'll talk more about David and Goliath and other things on this topic of belief. I might do multiple videos on belief, because I think it's that important. Knowing whose we are and knowing who we are and having belief could take us such a long way. And that's day 101.